Your physiological brain is wired for danger. It's meant to be that way. We just haven't evolved because we can do the evolving. We can do the shifting that sets us ahead, right? We have the capability of doing that with our own brains when we understand but don't judge the wiring that's going on there. That's why you may go to a hypervigilance or a hyper awareness or like controller mode. That's why we go there. Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicki Baird, and my role here is to provide intuitive insights to help you overcome self-doubt and to really activate your brilliance, to shine, to do it authentically and with joy and merge that soul self with the human self. So I appreciate you joining me here for each episode and on all the socials where we hang out and do the comments and all that. Can you see? I don't know if you can tell with the light the way it is, but spring is postponed for just a smidge. Winter here in the Albany, New York area has decided to just do one more go round. And we are currently at about 7 inches of snow out there. And it's absolutely beautiful, stunning. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to go snowblow. And I will be also very grateful for the warm weather because I'm a cold weather girl. I like it warm. So if you hear a squeaking in the background, it's the girl over there on the chair who needs a CPAP machine or something. She's got the loudest snore of any cat I've ever met in my life. So this week, what are we talking about this week? This week, we're talking about how to use the power of positive intelligence and our own intuition and the combination of that, and how we can be most effective when we understand both the wiring of our brain and the intuition that is still part of our brain, but it's also the energy field and what we came in with on a human level. So that's what we're talking about this week. Are we talking about the fact that my bra strap won't stay covered up either? We could talk about that if you need to. Making it real here at this podcast. Oh, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't actually see that. So I just exposed double entendre intended myself. So let me back up. About 6 months ago, I became aware of this work by Shirzad Chamine, who is just freaking adorable. He's just freaking adorable. I don't know if a grown man wants to be known as freaking adorable, but he's freaking adorable and real and true. And I think all of us can readily admit we're tired of the fake. I got it all together. I know what I'm talking about. If I'm in this coaching world or I'm seen as an expert, I've figured it all out. I love his truthfulness, and I became aware of his work through his book, Positive Intelligence, and we'll put all the links in the show notes for you so it's easier to find. And then I was invited to participate in a grant program that he was doing through his company, and it was for coaches. It is for coaches. Keep an eye out for it because it comes up 4 times a year, I believe he said. And what this coaching program involved was following his app that you can get through a coach or taking the program yourself. And it was a 7-week program of getting to know thyself and getting to know your saboteurs. All of us have the same saboteurs. We're not that different from each other. I wish we could really understand that so that we could get along a little bit better. We all have a soul. We all have this critic, this judge, this biatch that lives in our head that is there to help us survive. It is absolutely there to keep us alive. It's important. It's just always run the show. And you can see that a lot in how we react to things and how we are as beings. We just haven't evolved enough to use both our left brain and our right brain simultaneously. They work independent of each other. And I love this work because if you've listened to the podcast before, I'm very into neuroplasticity, neuropathway work, certified in other methods because I freaking love the brain. I just think it's so amazing and so powerful when you understand, yes, this is some of my wiring, and yes, I have the capability to shift it. It empowers, right? It makes you feel like you've got somewhere to go with it. So I do this program and I learn more about myself that I did not even realize was in there. And to me, that's exciting because if there's something I can learn about myself, I want to. Because here's my gig. We come around lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to learn. That's why we're here, to learn to experience the joy of the soul. I'm really okay with not doing 100 more lifetimes. I'm really okay with that. I want to learn as much as I can in this lifetime to be the wonderful human being I aspire to be, but also to be the soul that understands and to share and to give, right? So I'm trying to shorten how many lifetimes I come back. Totally transparent about that. I think it's possible. And I believe that understanding and accepting and truly appreciating who we are is the key to that, because I believe everyone is here to learn self-acceptance. That's all of our purpose, if you will. When somebody says, what's my life purpose? Well, your life purpose is to arrive in self-acceptance. Everyone's is. We just all have a different path to getting there because of our conditioning, because of our wiring, and because of whatever your soul decided it wanted to learn in this lifetime. Mine thought balance was a good idea. There isn't an area of my life that I've found that doesn't apply. So yes, it gets exhausting after time. Some souls are here to learn how to hold the door for someone. Really. Some souls are here for much higher concepts, right? So when I was introduced to this work, I was like, whoa, this is powerful because it takes into consideration our own intuitive self. It takes into consideration our left brain, our right brain, our heart, our soul. He doesn't really talk a lot about that. He goes more in the science door, but I know it's there. And when you go through, I decided to go through the training through certification, not certified yet, but to go through the training towards that because I really do love this. And this is the first coaching program since I got certified as a coach that I can say, ooh, I really want to represent this. And the other reason is I'm seeing such powerful changes in myself. I'm also applying it with my clients and seeing such powerful changes there because when you blend physiology with spirit, you amplify results. You just do, because we're merging the soul and the human self together. And when they get together, it is meant to be an extremely powerful combination. When you do it consciously, we're doing it at points unconsciously, subconsciously, we're doing it, right? But when you do it consciously, there's a power that happens. So I want to introduce this work to you because you're going to hear me reference it as I move through the program and the things I learn about myself and about it, but also because I want everybody to know this, just like my conscious circuitry that I do in shifting the neural pathways in the brain. I want everyone walking around with this. And, maybe you're not ready for coaching yet. Maybe it's not in your budget or in your mindset yet. So here you go. So as I'm going through this program and I'm learning about the saboteurs that we all have, and that critic, that judge that lives in your head, right? And it's not about kicking them out. I don't believe that we get rid of the ego. I believe we learn to hug the little bugger and that we learn to appreciate that aspect of ourselves because that voice is actually your human self. And your physiological brain is wired for danger. It's meant to be that way. We just haven't evolved, like I said, to use both sides. And that's okay because we can do the evolving. We can do the shifting that sets us ahead, right? Just like our technology, right? Like if you look 20, 30 years ago, like the idea of this thing that you put a CD in and you can access this thing called the web. Now look where we are, right? We have the capability of doing that with our own brains when we understand but don't judge the wiring that's going on there. And when you recognize that you're created to kind of look for danger, that's why you may go to a hypervigilance or a hyper awareness or a, like controller mode. That's why we go there. And we all have these, right? So once I understood more of the level of it, I felt the freedom within myself that I really want for you. I felt an understanding that, oh, it's not me that's doing this. Now, I have done this for 23 years where when I hear that really negative voice, I would say, please go stand over in the corner. I have to get stuff done. I don't have time for you right now. But I never really took time to understand where it came from, right? Like I was appreciating her and still extricating her rather than understanding, okay, what are you here to tell me? What could I learn from this? And this is what the program has taught me. Again, it's called Positive Intelligence, and this isn't necessarily an ad for it, but go for it. Get the book, listen to it. I would recommend doing the audiobook if you like them because his voice is so soothing that over time, when you hear the voice, there's a comfort in it, right? So he and his team, this is backed by, research, science, white papers, which my head loves. I like that. I like the affirmation that it's applicable and also helpful. And I started working with this in combination with my own intuition because it gives a very almost practical approach. You have to have structure in coaching. You have to have something you're working towards, but I really believe it helps to go to the source of whatever the problem is. So the idea here is based on your critic and your saboteurs in your left brain, your wisdom, your soul, your sage, your knowledge, your kuna matata of your right brain, and learning to quiet the saboteurs and raise the soul, the sage voice, which is so my message. Admittedly, I was a little bummed. I'm like, I've been saying this for years, and he pulled it all together in such a great package. And I'm like, fantastic. Because my critic, my hyperachiever, wanted to come in here and say, Vicki, you suck because you didn't pull all these concepts together and back it by science and put it out to the world. Well, who cares who does it? As long as it gets out to the world. And then I can come along and share it. And I still have my special sauce of the intuition that goes right to your pain point. If you can't, I can guide you there. So one of the things that this is helping with, and I'm seeing it directly with my clients, is I have them do the saboteur assessment, which again, we'll put a link in there. And then we talk about the fact that these are aspects of you. These are conditioned responses because every saboteur has a gift. It's like every behavior you have, and I said this so many times, is hiding a gift. It's in there. We just have to remove the ugly wrapping paper to get to whatever the gift is, right? So my hyperachiever can spin me in circles. I can have the list galore, but not necessarily accomplish things because I get spinning in circles. My achiever self, which is my right brain, focuses and it gets things done. And then I just love that, whether it's vacuuming or getting these podcasts out to you or writing up an invoice, balancing I use Zoho books, balancing my checking statement, whatever it is. When I'm in achiever mode, I feel playful about the things that need to be done. When I'm in hyperachiever mode, I spin in circles. Oh, goodness gracious. I bet is amusing from the outside. It's not so amusing from the inside, right? So once I have my clients take the saboteur assessment, admittedly, I'm 100% in knowing what their primary saboteur is, not only from intuition, but 23 years of doing this. Okay. So I can pretty much tune in to what's getting in somebody's way the first time I talk to them. And then we just wiggle it, right? And we shift it. So this work helps you to understand that here are the things that you're working with, understand that they're an aspect of yourself, and learn to take the gift side of it. And how do you do that? Well, you got to shift from the left brain, saboteur side, to the right brain, sage, soul, wisdom side. And we do that through something he calls PQ reps, positive quotient reps. And that's as simple as, let's do it right now. Take a deep breath. Let's take one more. And you pay attention to the temperature of the air coming in and the temperature of the air going out. And then maybe you do a couple more of those. Can you feel that energy shift? It goes from Vicki hyperachiever to let's just get this done. You can do them anywhere. I personally find going directly to the breath difficult. If somebody tells me to take a breath when I'm already in a hyped up state, I don't take a breath so well. I'm a good breather, but I don't take a breath so well. I'm more tactile. I will rub my fingers together, my palms on my quads, or if I'm standing, it's my hips. And I just rub there because that tactile sensation tells me to get in my body. I need to be present because all of the mindfulness work you do is about being present. It's about being brave enough to be present. And I do not want to sugarcoat or understate how much bravery it takes to be able to visit these aspects of yourself, readily admit that they exist, address them, look at them with compassion, do it kindly. I mean, sometimes you have to tell them to bugger off. Sometimes you have to say, oh, freaking not right now. I just can't deal with it. Like I said to my judge one day, it was a Saturday morning, something like that. And I was getting up, the cats were meow, doing their thing and they wanted to be fed. So I was getting up and immediately my judge went to what I didn't accomplish the day before. Immediately. I didn't even have my house coat on. Immediately it went there. And I said, no, you're just going to have to pound salt, like bugger off, get out of here because I'm not doing that first thing in the morning before I've had my coffee. It's not happening. So sometimes we do have to speak to it that way, but without animosity. It's more like, I'm done with you, beefy, right? Because once you establish this understanding of neuroplasticity and you understand that that voice isn't coming up because you suck, that voice is coming up because there's a loop going and the system has to be stopped and then started again in a more productive manner. Okay. So once you get that, you stop taking this stuff personally. Like you stop taking the fact that you didn't do the dishes personally. They're dishes, for goodness sakes. The fact that, maybe you forgot to pay the electric bill and they sent you a love note. Big deal. Get on it. You stop ruminating so much in your own brain that you can actually take conscious action and be in curiosity about why does this come up? Now, this is not a blaming of the parents because I am one, but it's just not cool to blame something that's back there. Look at it, understand it, shift it, but blame doesn't get you anywhere except further into the muck. This is mostly conditioned in childhood. Your gifts that you came in with on a soul level and your understanding that you came in with get conditioned the other way. Like hyperachiever for me, it did not seem like any adult was taking care of anything in my home growing up. And there's proof of that. So the achiever that I came in with, right, is like, let's get this done. I can figure out how to do this. You need me to take the payment to the bank. I got to take the dog to the vet because you're not taking care of it. I'll babysit for the vet in order to pay the bill. That resourcefulness shows up because of outside conditions. Now, I can blame my parents for where they were at the time, or I can understand that they were dealing with their saboteurs and they didn't have this kind of information, and I can have empathy and compassion for them. That took some work. Not going to lie, took some work. But I'm seeing this with my clients when I have them do the assessment and we have a conversation about, okay, we are not going to judge ourselves that whatever the top 3 that came up are. Because the beauty of any kind of limiting belief system is once you start working on one, they all get quieter, because it's just like that kid going, mom, 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 mom. They just want your attention. And when you're like, what? They're like, hi. You just want to be heard. And it's your responsibility to be heard by yourself, not by others. Don't be a victim. We all have victim in us. Don't embrace the victim. Next episode's about the victim. Just a little teaser there. So as we're working with this, and I'll say, could that be your avoider that's speaking? Do we need to name the avoider? I have one client, he was very much in victim mode, and it shows up. We're working on it. It'll be fine. And I said, well, what's his name? And he's like, well, seems like it should be Victor. And I'm like, well, there you go. So when that comes up, you're like, Victor's speaking right now. Well, Victor, take a seat. What do you need, Victor? Do you need a nap? Do you need something to eat? What's going on that you are not getting attention, where you feel like you're not getting the attention you deserve or need? How can I help you with that? And the conversation that he has with Victor is, how can he help himself? And yes, it feels a little separate, but that's the point, because it's really hard to get out of your shit if you're sitting in it. That could be a t-shirt, don't you think? So I have another client who we'll call Sarah, because I don't have any clients right now named Sarah. So we'll call her Sarah. And she's struggled with self-doubt, limiting beliefs, the whole 9 yards. And as we looked at what her primary saboteur is still there. We're working on it. It's that pleaser, right? Like, she needed attention from other people. Something within her was not fulfilled again as a child. And she learned to make sure everybody else was taken care of first. And then she grew resentful. And it's not in judgment. Again, the important part is to learn to not be in judgment. And as we work through this, and I say to her, okay, I'd like you to put yourself in the front of the line. Can we do that? What would that look like even? If we fast forward you a few months and you've done that, what would that look like? And sometimes the fear of other people being mad comes up and you deal with that, right? Like, we talk about it. We do exercises to work through it. And then sometimes intuitively, I will pick up with where that seed was planted, and we can go back to that time frame. I don't dig up experiences, but we can go back to that time frame and say, that's when Pleaser got installed. Let's, just like on your computer, run an uninstall program and see how we can shift it. So the reason I'm bringing this to you is I want you to understand that you have this capability. You have the ability to shift. All of our brains do. You do need to bring about the bravery, the willingness, and to know that nothing is 100%. Okay. So you may have a habit of perfectionism. It can be quieted to be like productivity and fun with that rather than perfectionism. So our brains are amazing. And this is why you'll hear me talk about the magic mind, because doing this work, you need to support your brain, whether that's through protein, good hydration, good coffee. Come on, it's worth it. Whatever your drink is, right? Just let's not do those energy drinks, okay? People, be kind to your kidneys. So the magic mind is that magic sauce that I use to help me when my hyperachiever's spinning in circles. I'll be like, oh, what did you forget today? You forgot your magic mind, because the nootropics, the B vitamins, the calming energy of it, it gives you energy, but it doesn't hype you, right? Like if I was to grab another coffee or an energy drink or something of that nature, it would hype me and I would feed my hyperachiever rather than supporting my achiever self and my getter doneness. So the Magic Mind has the ingredients combined through science, because we love science, right? Science and spirit combined, superpowers. And it helps me to take the mindfulness practice that I've cultivated and keep it in action. Don't do it once a week, like keep it in action, have the everyday process going, because my adrenal system is supported, the cortisol levels are lower. The lion's mane helps my brain focus, and that helps me be proud of myself, because we all deserve to be proud of ourselves. It's okay to be proud of you. So Magic Mind helps me do that. And that's why I talk about it. And that's why I connect it to what's going on in the podcast, but also what's going on in your life. So if you'd like that too, you can go to magicmind.com/VickiB20. And also when you get there, like that'll take you to the page. But when you get there and you purchase, put your code in, put the code of VickiB20 in, and it'll give you 20% off. You sign up for the 3-month subscription, you're going to get 56% off because you used my link. But then if you put the code in, I know multi-step, right? If you put the code in, you'll get an additional 20% off. If you're already getting the subscription, get your butt over there and use the code for your next order. So you get 20% off of that. I love it. I wouldn't promote it if I didn't love it. I wouldn't suggest you use it if I didn't love it. So I hope you head on over there and you give your brain the support it needs while it's shifting these neural pathways and while you're creating the consistency and the habits that will support you in living that joyful life. So this is just a touch-in of the work that I've been experiencing, because I wanted to share with you that we're not fully grown ever, so we can relax on that, okay? So until you go through all your lifetimes and you no longer have to come back to learn, you're not fully grown. So get excited about that. Like really embrace it. So just scratch the surface of this work. It's amazing. I'd love for you to check it out for yourself, but I'm going to be bringing you some more of it intertwined with the subject and how we can manage and connect our intuition, because your intuition's in your right brain. It's right about here, like I've talked about before. And when you are in more of your right brain, which is actually your action brain, your left brain is fabulous for carrying out a plan, for logical thought, for step-by-step action. It's beautiful. Again, it's not kind of like the ego. We don't want to get rid of it. We just want to understand it. And there's some studies out there if you'd like to go. There's one quote I love by Dr. Rick Hansen. He's a neuroscientist. And he says, the brain is like Velcro for negative experience and Teflon for positive ones. So learning these techniques in whatever mindfulness practice you do, but understanding the brain is going to grab onto negative ones and use it as a be careful zone. And the positive ones just slide right off. It's such a great analogy, isn't it? Because it helps you to think about, well, hang on, I want to put Velcro on my right side. I want to bring that over here because I want to be in the place where this stuff sticks. And everyone I've worked with has been rather impressed with the calmness that it brings because through the acceptance. So as we continue to explore the depths, let's just hold that idea that we have the power to create that positive change, the supportive change, not only in ourselves, but in the ripple effect that happens in the world, because we are walking around without our saboteurs and spewing them on people as other people might spew on us. So like with my parents, I acquired some saboteurs from my parents, as we all do. Don't worry, I've already apologized to my daughter about that. But we acquire some of the saboteur, but I don't need to spew it back on them. I need to look at my own and say, okay, this is the avoider that's showing up. Vicki, how do you want to address it? So thank you for joining me in this. And I hope you can see how excited I am about it, but I hope you explore it for yourself because the impact it can have on others. And I really feel like if we can help kids understand this, we're going to get even further ahead in our evolution. So we don't need to croak to evolve anymore, but we need to do the work while we're here. Okay? Ready? Let's do this. info@vickibaird.com. You can email me, Vicki Baird Coaching, all the platforms. That's me that responds. And, check out the once a month program that we're doing with the worksheet bundles. It's going really well, and I'm having a lot of fun in the lives. So the Zooms, I keep calling them lives, but they're Zooms. And I hope to see you there. Take care. Be positive. Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to vickibaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com. And check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.